Two for $5. Two for $5. Thank you. 2 for 5. Tube socks. 2 for 5. Hi, I'm Diego Solorio, film student at UO. When I'm not directing films, I'm selling socks. Pays the rent, funds the films, and keeps me out of crippling student debt. Anyway, I got this new movie coming out. Check this out.
Aquí me tienes como loca enamorada, esperando a que des la media vuelta y veas que aquí está alguien dispuesto a ti, dedicando sus días enteros a verte feliz. Y es que tú tienes todo lo que necesito, una estatura perfecta, unos ojos coquetos, no importa que tengas los pies izquierdos. Mami, cintura, llévame. No necesitas llevar la cuenta de tus pies, porque sabes que estando juntos bailamos bien. Eres como el azúcar en el café. Solo toma mi cintura y llévame.
Very normal. Well, overall, how are you feeling? That might be broad, but
I only get nervous like this reminds me of when I was in 6th grade and I would have to do class speeches, public speaking, present a project. And you wake up in the morning and you feel that little dip in the pit of your stomach and you're just shit.
Feel.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I know, it was 2 days ago, you were speaking to me about kind of your anxieties about relatability, and the audience that you're kind of trying to convey to, or the perspective that you're trying to convey.
Yeah. Specifically what we were talking about the other day is my want to reach to two audiences, and that's a Spanish language audience and an English language audience. And this movie is 90% in English, but there are moments in Spanish. And where that stems from mostly is just I want my grandparents to be able to watch the movies and understand them. So what I did is right down to the wire of when I was supposed to submit the movie to the art house, I painstakingly captioned everything in the movie in Spanish and all the Spanish parts in English so that you could reach two worlds of an audience at the same time. But therein lies the identity crisis. I don't know, that's just been my problem my entire life, is trying to reach out to that Mexican side, not feeling fully Mexican, and then not feeling fully American in an English speaking crowd. And so then you kind of have your own mixed culture, or your own kind of language, and then that's just so personal, and that's just so niche that you're worried that people won't be able to relate to it. I think that's what you're talking about.
And it's a vulnerable thing. I mean, putting out a project that to some extent encapsulates part of your own experience growing up. It's you know, airing out your own life, essentially. I mean, maybe obviously this is not a story that necessarily parallels your own life.
No.
But it's personal to you.
Yeah.
Definitely. I chose this story from Sandra Cisneros because it had so much resonance to me. But because it has so much resonance to me, I'm worried that people are going to look at some of the characters and think that, oh, that's supposed to be me, and then that's how I think, and then that's how I act, and that's not true. I felt compelled to write some of the dialogue and direct some of the actions in this movie in a certain way because I do find something empathetic about it. I find something like I don't know, that speaks to a more universal audience, even though it's like so specific to a Mexican American identity.
Did you have a message like intended when you were like, because yes, you did take it from a short story, but you also did write your own dialogue and stuff. So like, what was like the intention between, you know, the actual story and then your own dialogue? Like, was there something intended that whole time when you were doing that? Like, what were you thinking when you were writing that type of stuff?
I think I just wanted to make something that like said that there is a place for Mexican American films, because there is a Mexican cinema and there is an American cinema, and so often I don't see those two parts intersect, and that just kind of, it makes you feel invisible. And then there are these like very specific things that come from my family or come from my culture that I think a lot of people would relate to. So whether you are Mexican or whether you are American, I hope that you can just like watch characters like these, stories like these, and appreciate that they don't speak for all Mexicans, they don't speak for all Americans, they don't even speak for all Mexican Americans, but that these are very specific people existing in a very specific place with very specific emotions, and if that has some kind of resonance to you, then that's great too, I guess.
If you look at it in a hyper-specific lens, like you said, I mean, that makes those experiences all more valid, because like, you know, part of the identity is experiencing a Mexican American identity in this story, in the Pacific Northwest, which of course you've experienced. And I mean, even though it's such a minority, I think that's what makes it important. And even if it touches just one or two people, even if they laugh at just like one or two jokes, I think that, in my opinion, it makes it all worth it.
It's hard to say, when you ask me that question, it's hard to say exactly what I want people to take away from it, because I can't like dictate that for people. My favorite thing about films is that a whole audience can watch it and they'll come away with like 50 different perspectives. So it's kind of like a litmus test in that way. You can't, and that's where like people build on stories too. They like have conversations after the screening and they say, what do you think of that part? And you say, oh, I thought she did this and it was like very good. And then like, oh, I didn't get that at all. That's, I think, the fun part about it, is that like it forces us to socialize when we're all like more increasingly like in our own bubble. I feel like that's like the one thing that I can still talk to people about and not feel like a weirdo. It's so weird that you can't just talk to people nowadays. It has to be like you have to have a reason to
talk to them,
go out with somebody, to socialize with them, to just like have a conversation. And I think films and movies like these hopefully are still sticking around to keep conversations going, I guess.
Bridge the gap.
I think that's great.
Yeah, it's a great answer. Yeah. Look at that.
That felt like such an essay answer.
That was perfect.
Hello, my name is Isabel Lopez, and I have the honor and privilege of playing Lupe Arredondo in the film of Bien Pretty. I know that for myself, this was such a wonderful project to be able to work on, such a fun experience, and all of the people that I got to work with, like Juan and Diego here, and the whole cast and crew were just incredible, and it was such a wonderful moment. I know that for myself, living in Eugene for the past couple of years, it was really cool to be able to meet more Latino people and be able to have that kind of bit of community and recognition amongst each other. And it really is just a project with a lot of passion and heart behind it, and I'm so thankful that it's at this point. It's incredible to realize that it's actually all done and put together. And thank you to each and every one of you for being able to support us and help make this happen, and for being here tonight to witness it along with us.
I'm just really grateful to have been a part of this. Everyone involved was fantastic. Like, I could not have expected this many college students to make something so refined and feel so professional. I have never acted in a film before, and so the first time being with such like passionate individuals who really want to make a really fine craft was really awesome. The whole time, Diego, I felt like he was burdening everything, but it was really, really cool to see everyone take on more and more responsibility to make this movie as best as we could all make it together. And that was just such an awesome thing to be a part of, and I'm so happy to be able to have participated, and I really hope that everyone enjoys.